Good morning, welcome to I Care, I Move. This is Move More. I'm Pat Taylor, and this is week 8. So, as usual, say it every week, but it's so important that if you have any sprays or inhalers or anything you need to take medication-wise, please make sure you've got it close by. Stop and take it if you need to. If you're feeling under the weather, or if you've got an achy back, or if you've injured yourself or done something, as I know some of you have, then please just listen to your body and stop, slow down on some of those exercises that you feel a little bit more. If it becomes too uncomfortable, then stop completely doing what you're doing. You can always sit and march. You can always stand and march. You can always just stand and sway, do some other exercises. But actually, when we know that if we've got some injuries, sometimes just moving a little bit helps, and stopping still is not the way forwards anymore. So a little bit of movement throughout your day can really help. If you're under the weather, again, feel free to take it down, but let's get going and challenge you in those areas that you find difficult. It's all very well going great with the bits that you're really confident at, but it's the bits that you're not sure about or that you're not confident about that we need to improve and practice. So let's start feet wide, hip walk to the front third of the chair, and then backwards again. So no holding your breath, relax the shoulders. This is your warm-up part. So we're getting the whole body warm, muscles join all the way through your body, so that it makes it easier for you to get through the exercise program. So we're going to start lifting the heels one at a time. Adjust your feet so they're a bit wider than your hips, maybe, and just slightly forwards. And work through those feet. So rolling up through the feet, using the whole foot, not just lifting up and down. Think about the whole foot peeling up and letting it come down in a smooth movement. What about what's happening with your posture? Are you kind of like slumped? Or do you need to think about a long spine, relaxing the shoulder? Reminded to make sure they are sitting up nice and tall. Make sure you're sitting up nice and tall. So what does that look like? I'll show you from the side. So I can sit in my backrest like this, slouched, slumped, which is fine, but not for long. When we hip walk, we're at the front third of the chair, and I could still sit here in a slump. But what we do is, and just feel the weight placement through the bottom, so it comes forwards as you tilt your pelvis forwards, lift up through the belly, lift up through the sternum, the chest, and then open out the collarbones. And that should feel like you can breathe better. What happens though, sometimes I say it to my husband and I say, stand up straight. He's got a proper kind of London Cockney stance. I say, sit up, stand up straight. And he goes like that, and he sticks his shoulders right back. We don't want that. So sometimes it helps to roll your shoulders back and down, and then just find the midpoint and relax into it. And then we tuck the chin back a bit, gives you a double chin. But what happens is, instead of like sticking your chin out, we pull back and we're protecting our neck, which takes the pressure off our neck and shoulders. And breathe. And just practice this at home. So great posture. Let's add in the arms. Can you hear your hands on your thighs? I've got slidey trousers on, slidey, silky trousers on, so I can hear my hands. So you should have your hands brushing your thighs and then coming behind you. Opposite hand to thigh, to knee. Keeping that great posture. And if you need to just have a rest out of that posture, that's fine. It takes a while for us to get used to it, especially if we're used to slouching or not having a great posture. And we all have a different posture. So what feels right for one might not feel right for the other. Okay, feet come wide, hands come down. take a lean to one side, feel it through the waist and use the muscles in the belly to lift you up. And let's go down to the other side. Whoop, come up to center, side, center. Keep going. So this is in case you needed to, it's really helpful in case you needed to pick something up off the floor, but it's warming up through the sides, through the waist. And you can always lift the other arm, elbow up. Now, if you're already in standing, which you might be by now, you can start sliding that elbow up as the other one comes right the way down the side of the thighs. Excellent. You don't have to go very far, but see how you go. Sometimes when you've done a few, you might get a little bit further. And then let's come into a bigger march, bigger heels. Now, if you struggle in standing or if you're wobbly in standing, you can always just do arms. You could always just do arms, especially later on in our healthy heart part, our endurance. Anything to do with arms will make your heart work harder. But for now, we're just warming up. Just a little tip for later. Okay, feet come wide. Let's drop the hands down, shoulder raise and lower and lift and lift and lower. Keep going. Oh, that feels nice. I always say that, don't I? But depending on how you sleep, can really affect your shoulders, your neck. You're not supposed to sleep on your belly, but I do. And I sleep like that, or like that, or like that. So quite often my neck feels a bit achy. Okay, little march. Oh, I can see some of you standing. Please feel free to stand if you're happy to. I'm going to come up to standing soon. Okay, another shoulder one, shoulder circle, all the way back and down, back and down. Smile and breathe. Oh, this is really nice to get going. Yeah. Ooh. And then march. I'm going to do one more in seated and then I'm going to come up to standing, but I want you to, I'll show you the standing option. So just ankle mobility, take your ankle, your feet, your toes even out, heels out, toes out, and then bring them back in. So toes out, heels out, toes out. In standing, please only do 1 foot at a time. So you just walk in 1 foot out. In standing, it would be just walk it out, walk it back in, but don't just slide it. Lift those toes, lift those heels, get some really lovely movement in those ankles. Lift. Couple more times. And then let's come to that ankle heel dig. So heel comes down, toes come down, heel, toe, heel, toe. In standing, your supported knee is soft. Excellent. And then let's change legs. And then little march. We're not quite finished our warm-up, but I am going to come up to standing. So you can either stay seated or come up to standing. As usual, at the top, we pump our heels, walk around, and march. On my squeaky floor, I forget about that. Breathe. Couple more movements, or maybe just one. Soft knees. In seated, it's that big chest circle. In standing, it's our lovely hula hoop circle or half a circle, whatever you feel, but definitely sending those hips forwards. Just stretching out into the back of the pelvis, the hips, hip joints, reverse direction. Soften those knees though. If you've got stiff knees, you can't move those hips hardly at all. Lovely. One more the other way. And then let's come to a march. So foot placement again. How wide are your feet? So they're underneath your hips for now. Let's just take a look to one side to warm up the muscles in the neck. Take a look to the front, to the side, and front, chin down to chest, and face in the front, and then lift up a little bit. Lovely. Then we're moving on to endurance or healthy heart. So this is the part where, and we're just going to tap out first. This is the part where you're going to get out of breath. Now you need to manage how out of breath you get and how fatigued you get. So 0 to 10 is our score. And 0 is you've just got out of bed. You haven't even warmed up. 10 is you've just walked up the biggest hill in Cornwall. We need you about 5 or 6. If you've been doing it a while, 6. If you're wobbly in this phase, then you can always just come back to a knee bend. So you're on the spot, but you're still working the big muscles. Or you could just come to a lunge one side and then the other side. Or you can just march. So remember what I said earlier, bigger arms means that your heart works harder. So if you think over the last few weeks, oh, I could be doing a bit more, when we're in a side step, if you don't need to hold on, you could add in both arms. So let's do a side step. You could add in one arm and then change. It's a bit of brain gym too. Or you could just do a little bicep curl, squeezing through the hands. So you kind of get a double action, 2 ways to make your heart work harder whilst we're moving. So multitasking. No, it doesn't have to be a fast movement. You can add in your little squeeze. Now we keep going. We teach another program called Totter, which uses ankle weights. You could even put on an ankle weight or hold the weight, but you don't have to. That was just if you wanted to do that at home. In seated, it's a tap out, or you can step together still. Oh, we've got a little, what do you call this, Helen? What do you call a pec deck there? Who's doing a pec deck?
No, it's lovely, isn't it?
Anne. Oh, that's quite hard, that one. And trying to get your elbows together is really good for your mobility for your shoulders, but just be careful.
John's got weights.
John's got weights. Wow. Oh my word. Proud mama. Okay, back to your march. Notice how you feel. 0 to 10. How are your energy levels? You don't need to march your arms if you're puffed out. If you're really puffed, just lift the heels. You can hold on. Take your time. You could even stay here for a bit longer and not come into the next movement if you're that puffed out. We're going to move into a lovely lunge. So what do? We step forward. So we land on the heel, whole foot, drive through the foot to bring you back to that wide base of support. Now, as I said before, you could either do one side and then swap or alternate. In seated, exactly the same. Make sure you're at the front third of your chair. Big step forwards, lean. Now, if you can add a little bottom lift, then you get that feeling of the lunge, because we need to press through the muscles in the thighs and the bottom to build up that strength. So that's what we're doing. We're building up the strength in your muscles, but also in the heart. So we're using the big muscles. This is why you get breathless. Coming back to that wide base every time. Why? Because we know that if we're in that wide base, if I then kind of took a step too far back, I could step back. or I could step to the side, that compensatory step. You can add in an arm. Opposite arm kind of allows you to help balance, or you can hold on with both hands, one hand, or a hover. We use this if we were going to reach down for something. We actually lunge, I suppose, getting in the car, getting out of the car. Lots of different gardening, housework. Excuse me. Squeak. And then march. I'm going to try facing the other way, see if it squeaks less. How do you feel? Clock, write down later your 0 to 10. Leave the arms out if you're too puffed out. And you might say, oh, I'm really like, I'm a 5, 6, even 7, and I'm not getting better. But you might recover quickly, more quickly. So you're ready to go now, say, rather than when you started, you'd still be kind of puffed out when we're ready to go. So interval training, we go up, we come down, up, down, up, and then bring you down. Okay, let's come to those knee bends. So I'm going to start in this position, wider than my feet are wider than hips, my toes are turning out. This for me is better for my hips. You can be a bit narrower, try it in different positions. Some people like feet facing forwards. Knees forwards, hips back, squeeze, squeeze to bring you back up. You can hold on to your chair. Eye gaze forward, please. You don't need to go that low. So you could just go a little bit, but squeeze. I'd rather you did it small amount properly than kind of bending forward. So what do we feel? What does it feel like? It feels like you need to take your knees over your toes. So what we don't want is that knees coming in. That's not good. It's not comfortable. And we need to be able to do this to get yourself on and off the toilet, in and out of cars, on and off chairs. Actually, most things in your day-to-day life. Squeeze. So remember I said last week that difference between me just doing these movements and actually activating these muscles. So squeeze, squeeze as you come up, and then give yourself another squeeze at the top. Is what makes that difference. From the front, squeeze, squeeze. Okay, and we're going to stop there. Sorry, in seated, it's your bunny hop or a sit to stand. Just march your heels now. Just march your heels or pump, lift your heels. In seated, that knee bend is that bunny hop, jockey jump, but feel free to come up to standing and do a sit to stand. Even better, even if you just did 1 or 2, and then you carried on with bunny hop. How are you? How are your energy levels? How are you? What's your score? I'm quite warm, so I'm going to put the fan. Marching, recovering here.
So just push these out of frame, doesn't mean that you have to stop. I watched that.
Oh,
Go down.
sneaky beak there in the background. Eyes on you, all over. Okay. Lovely. One more. Knee lift. So we're going to lift that knee in front, pop it down. Knee lift. In seated, come to the front third of your chair and then lean back in the chair and then lift that knee. So lift the knee. So you can see I'm face on, my knees are pointing towards you. I'm not lifting them to the side. And that might restrict you if you've got something going on with your hips or your bottom, knees. Relax the toes if you can. So lift. And what's happening when you put your toes down, your feet down? Are you flat-footed or are you using the whole of the foot? So peeling up, rolling back down. Hold on if you want to, but you do kind of need to be at the diagonal. You could be between two chairs. Lovely. Okay, you can always add in opposite arms or just one arm. Remember that arm movement will make your heart work harder. So if you think, oh, this is a bit easy, you can always add arms. You could add them forwards. Ooh. Lovely, you could squeeze that elbow back. Excellent, march now. Okay, bringing it down the other side. We're going to come to a double step. So side step, 1 and 2, 1 and 2. Now, if you need to be behind your chair, just slide that hand across the chair. So you've always got something there to support you, or you could be at a worktop. And if you're going to redo it in the week, maybe try it in a different place. Try it at your kitchen worktop. If you've got a mobile laptop, say, or something you can move. Excellent. How are we feeling? We should be feeling okay. Breathe, get some lovely oxygen in your lungs. Okay, we move into just a heel lift. We're recovering, so still intervals, bringing your heart rate down gradually. Okay, side step, just one side step. Take your time. You're not smiling, concentrating. Excellent. Lovely. And then feet wide, let's go to our sway as we come into our balance section. So, lovely. So when I last week, I moved the chair around quite a lot. That's fine to do that. But if you're wobbly while you're moving, do make sure you've got something else that you could use, or feel free to just turn around. I move it around so I don't have my back to you. But you don't, once I've coached it and you've done it one side, you don't really need to look at me to know what to do. So feel free to just turn around and do it the other side, rather than moving your furniture around. Okay. If you need to grab a drink, grab a drink. Let's just do a quick check-in then. Everybody all right? Oh, have you got your breath back? No? If you need a bit longer to get your breath back, just stand or sit and just lift your heels slowly and take your time. You can always join back in the balance when you're ready, or you could just join in and do the rest of the bits that you miss out later. Fabulous. Okay, so moving into balance. Let's stick with our flamingo stand. This is so important for us, and we can do it anywhere. So it looks like in standing, this supporting knee is soft, so it's slightly bent. My toes are spread out in my shoes to give me that support into my foot, my ankle, and the weight's going in my big toe, second toe, which means that my ankle doesn't wobble around. I'm going to think of that great posture. So shoulders back and down, eye gaze is forward. You don't need to look at what your feet are doing. Sliding that foot back, knees are level. So your knees should be able to touch each other, but just let them separate. Tuck your bottom under, and then we're just going to lift the foot. Now, if you want to lift the foot, you could leave the foot there, and you could adjust your pressure on your support. So even standing with one hand or no hands with your foot slid back is great balance practice. If you add it on, it's more single leg stand, it's more unbalanced. So remember, hold on, hover or use your arms to keep your balance. You can time yourself. It doesn't matter if you wobble. What do we want you to do if you wobble and you need to step? We're going to step wide into that compensatory step. So we compensate for our wobble by stepping out nice and wide. Then come back. If you need to have a little wiggle, then do that. We're going to stay on the same side. Are you getting better? Send me your numbers. We talk about numbers, but normally it's blood pressure, pulse rate, respiration rate. Send me your numbers of how long you can stand up on one foot. It's not a competition. I used to be rubbish, and now I'm much better. So we all benefit from this. Okay, let's go again. So you know the rules. We're standing away enough from the chair that we can use it as support. In seated, one foot on the other, or lift that leg. Okay, let's go. So slide it back, lift if you're going to lift, eye gaze, forwards, use your arms or hover, hold on, press down, spread those toes out. Don't look at me because I'm wobbling. Do you know it's good to wobble? It's not good to wobble, it's fine to wobble. It's how we recover from that wobble that makes the difference. So keep that knee soft. Whoop. And when you're ready, we're going to step wide and wiggle. Lovely, great. And like I say before, try it with shoes on, try it without shoes on. Try not to do it in slippers because you either need good support or flat or just barefoot. And depending on if you've got anything going on with your feet as well, sometimes you need a good support around your ankle. So I'm going to move my chair around. Remember, you can just turn around and set yourselves up. So I'm going to press down on my chair while I set myself up. So soft knee, spread your toes out, slide the foot back, lift the heel, lift the foot. Ooh, it's fine to put your foot down and start again. My ankle this side is going ooh, all over the place. It's fine. I'm like quite wobbly this side. A lot of you are leaning forwards, right? So if you're leaning forwards, you're not engaging through your belly, you're not tucking your bottom under, eye gaze forward. So lift your chin, look forwards, relax your shoulders. Take that knee so it's level. You can always stop and start again. When you're ready, how do we come out? Big step wide, that compensatory step. You'll be hearing that in your sleep, compensatory step. Okay, and remember you can always have your chair in front of you. You don't have to have it at the side. Better that side or worse? Not worse, maybe you just need more practice. And actually, if that's your weaker side, more wobbly side, practice even more on that side. Let's go again. So posture check. Take the weight through that foot, bend through the knee, bottom under, belly engaged, eye gaze forwards and shoulders relaxed. Slide the foot back, lift the heel, sing a little song to yourself. Try not to do a little Saturday Night Fever in this position. You could, but take your mind off it and step wide. Same in seated. Say exactly the same. If you don't like to stand and do balance in standing, honestly, if you could just stand in front of your chair and have something in front. We used to do 2 chairs. So you'd have a chair behind you and a chair in front of you, and just come into a standing position, just sliding that foot back, holding onto your chair. Gives you that same feeling, but you're slightly safer because you've got something to hold on to, and you can always then sit back down and swap in sides. And remember, you can do this anywhere. Just make sure you've got something to hold on to and make sure you've got room to step wide. Fabulous. Right. So we're coming into toe walks, heel walks. And if you want to do the heel, the toe walk. So it's a toe walk, heel lift. No, yeah. But you can always do that by a wall. If you feel like you're going to walk fall backwards, you can always have a wall behind you or have your support behind you, but just adjust your surroundings, or feel free to do this later when you might be a bit more safer, or if you've got somebody with you. So let's just practice a couple of times before we walk. So I've got my support. I'm going to lift the toes in both of my feet. My knees are bent slightly. I'm not sticking my bottom out. I'm keeping a great posture. Then I drop my toes down and hold on. In seated, we're lifting the toes, or you could do it one side, one-footed, but you have to lean back to get that feeling of unsteadiness. And again, if you're not used to or you're not confident standing, you could always do one leg at a time. Lift the toes on one side, and you can always use that compensatory step. So let's lift the toes. What pressure are you using? Are you holding on? Are you pressing down? 2 hands, 1 hand, no hands? Let the feet come down and just wiggle. Okay, we're going to step now. I'm going to turn to face you. So we're going to come onto the heels, lift the toes, and we're going to walk, 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 toes down. And lift. 4, 3, 2, 1. Exactly the same in seated. Make sure you're leaning back. 4, 3, 2, 1. I can't do this on the spot. And last time. 4, 3, 2, 1. Great. Hopefully that feels okay. You can practice by wall, just lifting the toes, but it can make your shins ache a little bit if you do it too much. So just be aware of that. But doing it against a wall really helps you to notice what's happening to your body. So if you are sticking your bottom out, your bottom will hit the wall first. Whereas if you're in a great posture, kind of the top of the back and the top of the pelvis and the shoulder blades hit first. Okay, into a heel raise, so a toe walk. So let's practice that. So stepping away enough from your chair so you've got some support, lifting the heels, spreading the toes out. Remember, weight through the big toe, second toe. Eye gaze forwards, lower down, slowly, controlled. Lift, lift, lower, lower. Are we all okay? Lift, lift, lower, lower. And again, you could do this against a wall. Let me do it. Pretend this wall is bigger, wider, against a wall, and have the wall in front of you. So we're going to walk or step. So up onto your toes, weight through the big toe, second toe. 4, 3, 2, 1. Lower down. Whoop. Lift up. 4, 3, 2, 1. And if you come down and you need to step back, absolutely fine. That's what we want. We want that to become a natural reaction. Lift up, weight in the center. 4, 3, 2, 1. And that stops you rolling out onto the ankles. Last time. 4, 3, 2, 1. Roll down. Lovely. Fab. Just let's stretch those out. So take the foot back, 1 foot back, drop the heel. Now you might need to look here. I'll show you from the front. Drop my heel down right behind my toes, not in here like this. So right behind your toes in a straight line. Lean into that front leg. Lovely. Other side, take the toes back, land that heel, lean into that chair. So you feel that stretch in the back of the calf. And then just bring that foot in a little bit and then stick your bottom out. So you've got 1 bent knee, 1 straight knee. It's a bit odd, this stretch. It feels odd. And then we're going to swap sides. So step in, step that foot back, and then bend that knee, stick your bottom out, straighten that front knee. In seated, It's your lovely calf stretch, hamstring stretch. So it's this one here. And then squeeze the toes up. Same on the other side. There. And then point the toes in seated. You can point the toes in standing. Just stretching off the muscles in the shins. Do. Lovely. And then let's do a little lunge and a reach, which is fab. So I'm at the side of my chair. I could have the chair in front of me. See how you go. Just watch first. So I'm away from my chair. I'm going to land into that lunge. Start small. And I'm going to lean as if I was going to pick something up off another chair. So I'm not going like right down to the floor. I'm just leaning down forwards. I'll show you from the side. Step out. Eye gaze towards my hand. Okay, 45 degrees, not down here. Remember, you're more likely to fall the way you're looking. So we're not going to fall if we're here. Big push back into that wide base of support. So give it a go one side. In seated, tuck one leg back a little bit. So you're in that staggered stance that we keep talking about. Lunge forward. If you wanted to, you could add a bit of a squeeze and a reach. Come back. Wide base. Go again. So if I was going to add in that bit of a squeeze, that lift, I'd be here. As if I was really trying to reach for something and I can't quite get it. Eye gaze follows my hand though. Really important. We know that when we're coming to sit to stand, if I was going to look down, I'm going to go to the floor. Whereas if we look up, we're going to go upwards. Have we changed sides? Let's change sides. Okay. Changing sides, other leg. And you might find I'm not going really good on one side and the other side I'm rubbish. So move your chair accordingly. So if I felt this side was weaker and I needed a bit more pressure to help me get back up, then adjust. Or have two chairs. Or don't come so far forwards. Just practicing and practicing doing your homework will really help you to become strong. And this is going to help you get upstairs and up the hills. And generally be more balanced in different directions. So you notice that we're not always going forwards. We're going in different planes of direction. So forwards and down, forwards and up, forwards and sides. So really good for our awareness. Reaching. Ooh, can't quite reach it. Anne, are you okay? Give me a thumbs up if you're okay. Fab. And hold it there. Ooh. We'll send those exercises out in the newsletter on our follow-up, so you can practice those for homework and let me know how you get on. Okay, let's move into strength. So make sure you got your band. I've got lovely new bands, which we will send out, and they're not so hard as the last lot, so I'm very happy. Come into your chairs properly. Feel the chair behind your knees, push your bottom out, sit down, controlled. So no plopping, we say. We don't want any ploppers. Catch your breath. So even though that was balanced, sometimes when we're lunging, coming on our toes, we're still using those muscles in our bodies that make us a little bit puffed out. Oh.
Show of hands, thumbs up, thumbs down, come see, comes out, then.
How is everybody? Are we okay? Thumbs up is good. Middle is I'm all right. Down is, oh my word, what have you done? Excellent. Have you got your bands with you? We've got a super long one here today.
Oh, she's feeling better, isn't she?
Super long one.
Talk about that as well. Cancer beans.
Okay. I did earlier, but
I know.
if you don't have a band yet, you can use weights. You can put them around your ankles, your wrists, or just normal hand weights, dumbbells, or bottles of water, tins of tomato soup we used to use. It will all add to your strength, but just write down how many you're doing and don't overdo it if you're adding weights. So let's come on to some strength. First of all, let's do bands because I've got you to do them. Let's do our lovely thigh knee abduction. So come to the front third of your chair, please. And then posture check. You can't do these exercises sitting in the back of the chair. You just can't move your limbs properly. So if you need to join us in a bit, that's fine, or do it later. So how do we put these bands in? Lift the toes and slide the band under your thighs, above your knees. Pop the toes down as you sit up. Take the feet wider. Oh no, bring the knees in, sorry. Bring the feet in, knees together. Band goes over itself, and then just pop your hands on top. And then walk the heels out, toes out. So you've got some resistance. And then what I want you to do is keep those knees in line with the feet. So try not to let them ping in. Okay, so there's resistance on the whole time. Then we're going to take the knees wider. So out, 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 in, back to that neutral position. And out, out, out. And in. Now, remember what I said about squeezing those muscles, really using and engaging those muscles. So bottom, thighs, belly, to keep you upright. And in. And keep breathing. So don't hold your breath here. So if it's not hard enough, we don't want it to be really hard, but you need to feel that resistance. Out, out, out. In. Out, out, out. And in. Let's do 2 more. If you're able to, if you're not, just stop, but write down. Out, out, out. And then we're going to stop and release. So we just did that 8 times. So that's 8 repetitions. And that was 1 set of 8. So now we're going to add on another set. So you might be able to do 8. You might be able to only do 6 or 4 or 2. Write it down in your book. So set up again, add that tension, slide your hands in, and then let's go again. So slide those knees out and in, control it on the way in as well as out. So we don't want you pinging them back in. So you get a double workout there as you're coming in and out. I think that's 3. And 4. And 5. Actually, we'll do 6. Then we're going to take the knees out and just hold or press. Tiny little presses. Smile. It's good for you. And 3, 2, 1. Release slowly and breathe. You should have been breathing, but you can relax. And that can be quite strong through the arms, through the back, by sitting up and engaging through the core and the legs, hips, thighs, etc. Write down, repeat it for homework. Okay, let's come into, now I know some of you love the triceps and the biceps. Let's do biceps. So band goes under both of your feet. So I'm going to pop the band down. Both feet go on. To secure that band, I'm going to go side on. We don't want it pinging up. So band in towards the side of the leg, hand goes down around the thigh area and adjust those feet. So wider than your hips, you're on the front third of the chair. And then send that band over. My palm is facing up, my elbow tucks in, relax the shoulders down, drop them down, and then hand towards the shoulder. Slowly down. Now, if that's too easy, hold it further down. If it's too hard, hold it further up. Straight wrist, so strong wrist, gripping with your thumb and your fingers. That elbow shouldn't be moving. It should be stuck to your side. The only movement is the forearm at the elbow. Okay, we're going to send the thumb up. So thumb comes up towards the shoulder, giving us a big thumbs up because you love this movement. Obviously, come down. Let's do 2 more. Up, breathe in and out. Is that 2 or 1? And then we're going to flip over, palm down, or lift, lower. And you should feel that in different areas of your arm. Do as many as you can, or just don't overdo it here. I'm going to do 1 more. Excellent. And then rest. Give your arm a little shake. Oh, we're whizzing on. Right, we'll just do biceps today. I'm going to show you. So exactly the same, other side. Okay, so pop that band on the floor, feet on. Now you might be tired, but I really want you to focus on posture. So again, feel the weight transfer from the back of the pelvis, back of the hips, as you sit forwards onto your sit bones almost. So, and bobbly bit, knobbly bit maybe. Relax the shoulders, back and down, eye gaze forwards. And just open out through the chest. Band at the side, hand down, send the band over, elbow tucks into your waist. And then lift towards the hand towards the shoulder, lower down. So as you lower down, that hand should be kind of mid-thigh, but at the side. And lift. So I'm not kind of lifting my elbow or my hand around and stop. It's as if someone's tied your elbow, your arm to your body. Lovely, keep going. Okay, we're going thumbs up. I'm going to move that just, oh no, I'm not. Thumb up, thumb towards your shoulder and down, up, 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 down, down, down. Can you do 2 more? Up, up, down, down, up, up, down, down. Okay, palm down and lift. Oh, that's much harder. Down, down, I think anyway. You might not think. Let me know. You might think it's a breeze. We're working the whole of your arm, well, the lower part of your arm and the upper part. Relax. Let's do a little squeeze of the fingers, open out, spread them right out. Make a fist, but don't squeeze actually, just open. And you might find your fingers are a bit tingly. It's gripping, grip strength. Gripping anything is really good for us. We have to retain the strength in our fingers for those fine motor skills, fastening buttons, opening tin jars and things, and just being independent. Fab. That's your strength bit done. Throw your band away or somewhere safe. Yeah, we throw them at Helen. So we're going to go on to Tai Chi. I might need you to come and just hold me out on the mat, come in, Helen.
Yeah.
Yeah. Tai Chi. Helen's just going to come and do Tai Chi for a minute in a swishy dress. Oh, I thought you had one on.
No, I was just doing it on the. Right, don't stop. Right, excuse me, looking like a girl wearing a skirt. It's a rare thing. Right, so listen, we're going to have a little go at some Tai Chi stuff with you, all right? So let's do this standing. Let's try and do it standing. And what we're going to try, so it's fine if you need to stay seated, that's fine. But what I want us to do is stagger your stance. Can you see that? So you've got your feet wide base sway, but front foot pointing out to the diagonal, staggered back, pointing into the other corner. Does that make sense? And all we're going to do is bend your knees. You're going to bend the knees and lean forward into that diagonal and then backwards. Okay, so that's part 1. because she's not here and she's not looking, I can obviously do other things. So we're moving backwards and forwards. Relax your shoulders, do a little shimmy shimmy, sink through your knees as you're rocking backwards and forwards. So if you can see, I'm actually lifting my front foot. So my toe is coming up and I'm rolling back onto my heel. Can you see that? What's that? Yeah, so nice and upright, relax, relax, relax. Good, got it? Okay, we're going to change that and do exactly the same thing, but on the other foot. So staggered back, staggered stance. So you've got a really lovely base of support, and this is us, and this is just part of reaching. Same thing. We're sinking back into the back hip and leg, and then forward front knee. But as you become more comfortable with this, we start to lift the toes. Okay, so it's an up and down on that front foot. So this is literally shifting weight. Okay, got it? Okay, so relax your shoulders as you do it. In time, we'll be able to travel, but we're not doing that yet. So we're going to switch back to leg one. So staggered stance, foot into the corner, foot back, shift weight. So what if we added arms? Slowly bring the arms forward and slowly bring them back. Isn't that nice? So it just feels soft. So it's the back of the hands that come up and then draw it all back in towards your hip. Beautiful. Okay, now what if we went the same move, but take it down and up and down? All I'm doing is just working on staggered stance and getting them to lift that front toe. Okay, beautiful. So go back to the other side, staggered stance. Same thing, relax your shoulders, nice and upright. Because you've got such a beautiful base of support, it's easy to do this. So same thing is let the arms float up and then back down. So it's just, oh, it just feels nice and relaxed. You feel supported. Lovely. And this is all balanced. This is all about reaching. Beautiful. Okay. And let's switch direction. So we're still traveling forward. Forward and up. Forward. Just soft. Everything is just soft. Beautiful. Lovely. Okay. Now come here. Wide feet. So wide, lovely, strong, wide base of support. Relax your shoulders. Lovely. Take your hands up to me, like to your face. Breathe in, breathe out, push those hands away. Ah, all like that. Good. So breathing in. And then just long neck, relax shoulders, press away. So breathing in. Just taking your time, and that breath out is just slightly longer than the breath in. Now for the last 3 or 4, we're going to do a little ripple. So up, and then a little ripple with your hands all the way down. Breathing in, breathing out. So there's 2 more times. You are just gorgeous. Last time, soft knees, long spine, nice and relaxed. And then we do this. So sit down, come into a seated position. Make sure you sit down properly, please. Feet are coming forwards a little bit. We're going to send one leg away. Toes up to the ceiling, hands on the other thigh. Lean forward from the hips. Try not to round your spine. Try not to look down. And breathe.
Just breathe. If you can't feel that stretch behind the knee, take a breath in and just lean a bit further. Don't bounce, just keep still. Keep the heel there, lift up, shake the foot off and squeeze the toes up towards the knee. And then swap sides. Other leg, lean onto the supporting leg, hinge from the hips. Lovely neutral spine. So we try not to say a straight spine because your spine shouldn't be straight. So nice neutral spine. You've got lovely curves in your spine, right the way up to your neck. So we want to keep those curves to protect it. Breathe. Again, if you need a bigger stretch, just lean down a little bit further. And then keep the foot there and sit up. Shake it off and then squeeze the toes up towards the kneecap. And squeeze the thigh. So you could just squeeze it up and do nothing, but actually if you really squeeze the thigh, you get a bigger calf stretch. Feet wide. Let's stretch out biceps. So palm facing up. If you can, just send the arm up towards the ceiling. Sometimes it helps by just drawing the fingers backwards a little bit. If you've got painful wrists, though, you might not be able to do that. So it's just straightening out the arm. And I'm a bit double jointed, so it looks weird. Okay, swap sides. And then hand on the opposite shoulder, draw that arm closer in to your chest. Keep breathing. If you can, hand on the same shoulder, walk the fingers down towards the center of the shoulder blades, elbow lifts, you can give it a nudge. Lift through the chest, feet wide here, hand up if you can, take the hand over your head and then come forwards and out, other side. Hand on the opposite shoulder, draw that arm in. And then hand on the same shoulder, wiggle, jiggle. That fingers down towards the center of the shoulder blade. Give it a nudge, lift. Eye gaze forwards though. And then send the arm up, overhead. And lean forwards and out of that stretch. Hands come behind you, either into the lower back or holding the chair. Squeeze the elbows towards each other and just lift the chin slightly, stretching out through the chest. And relax. Oops, 11:30. Okay, let's roll the shoulders. Oh, give them a roll. Give us a heel pump. Put your hands together and give yourself a round of applause. I will send you a nice relaxation video. Thanks for joining us, and we'll see you next week for week 9.